for entertainment purposes only. And if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
Lori
To the
Laughlin.
light.
Lori Laughlin. Who? Tell us what's going on. Lori Laughlin, everybody knows, is part of that admissions scandal. She's
an actress.
She's an actress. She has the two daughters that were supposedly, wasn't the two daughters, are supposedly on the rowing team at USC. She's accused, again, these are all accusations, accused of paying $500,000 to an admissions consultant to get her kids into USC as the rowing team.
Right. She's being defended by an attorney named Latham. And Latham is...
Oh, we don't care about those lawyers.
Oh, no, we do. This one's good because it's a conflict of interest, guys.
Oh.
So Latham also represents USC in an unrelated matter. So Latham and Watkins are the attorneys. The firm, Latham and Watkins,
yes.
and they also represent USC in an unrelated matter. And USC is contemplating suing Lori Laughlin. And, of course, what would Lori Laughlin do? Countersue against Singer. Right?
Right.
That's right.
That would be the smart thing if she gets sued civilly.
And so we think that USC might be thinking it. The way this came up was the LA Times got a hold of a letter that was written by an attorney that was talking about this representation of Latham and Watkins on the part of Laughlin and how they represent USC. And in the letter it says, quote, USC has suggested that Latham's representation of Miss Laughlin and Mr. Giannulli may conflict with USC's interests in possible future litigation with these individuals. And so then the idea is, well, why would that even come up? Why would they even review this for a conflict of interest if they weren't contemplating possible litigation against Laughlin and her husband? And so because this came out, people are now trying to read the tea leaves, putting two and two together, saying, USC must be thinking about this.
So go ahead.
So the prosecutors in the criminal matter have brought it to the court's attention, saying this would be adverse for this firm to represent both the university and the couple at the same time. So a motion was filed by the prosecutors in the criminal matter to disqualify Latham firm.
The Latham firm. Here's what's interesting about USC. USC bringing a lawsuit against them for what? What are they going to bring it for?
Fraud.
Defamation,
Fraud.
perhaps? Fraud.
Defamation. Mm-hmm. Isn't it USC's own coaches that were involved in some of this?
It is.
It's a row coach.
Okay, let's
right?
back up. So USC, I'm jumping on Laughlin's side. What's my argument going to be? So you're telling me that I, quote, defrauded you, USC. Oh, and by the way, didn't you just have a guy plead guilty and get a sentence for the basketball scandal? Oh, yes, you did. That's right. That was one of your assistant coaches. Oh, and by the way, wasn't your rowing coach involved in this situation to come in here and allow my children to come in? Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys were involved, and these are your, quote, employees. Isn't that true, USC? Oh, yes, it is. So wait a minute. So you're saying you were scammed, and yet your people were part of other scams? So, I mean, that's what my argument would be the whole time. Cal,
Well, I wanted to go back to the Latham and Watkins thing because they are a huge law firm.
Right.
I only know this because a friend of mine used to work for it. Still just retired from there. And they have so many offices and so many people that so let's say a guy in central L.A. for L&W is working for USC. Lori Laughlin's people live in Riverside, and she's working with a completely different guy in a completely different office.
Easy.
How can that be a conflict?
Easy. It's computer. There's computers. You have to do a conflict check. And yes, there sometimes is a conflict, but we have computers, huh? The conflict check.
But you have to stop and think about it. They're currently representing USC, and now they're going to represent Laughlin when it involves and impacts USC and the reputation of USC.
But I'm saying that's a corporate guy, but it's really a guy over here, and then there's another guy over there representing.
But it
Laughlin.
doesn't matter if it's one firm; the whole firm's disqualified.
Understood. I'm just trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, but it can be, Denise. There can be.
You can. There's exceptions.
Yes,
if you can do a Chinese
depends.
wall and that kind of stuff, but there's a presumption that the law firm has gotten private privileged information from each of the clients, and that is the conflict.
Well, and the other thing is, and I like that because the red herring maybe in what the LA Times was thinking here is that a lawsuit would have to be filed by USC against the Laughlins in order for the conflict of interest to arise, and it doesn't.
Right.
So when you look at the California State Bar rules, first, if Latham and Watkins thought they had a conflict, their first duty would be to inform USC, we're representing the Laughlins, we need your consent in order to do this. And so now USC is looking at it going, all right, it could very well be that they received something from L&W, and now they've got to respond to it. Are we going to give them
informed written consent?
Are we going to give them the consent or not? The second thing is, again, like you are saying, that if the representation of more than one client would affect the interests of the client. It doesn't have to be a lawsuit. Right. And so if the interests would be adversely affected and you don't have a waiver, you got a problem.
Well, and that's what the prosecutors are arguing in their motion.
Yes,
we need to watch the result of that.
Yeah, and all states are different. Again, we're throughout the United States, and you look at it, but some states says even if you have a waiver, you can't. There's still too much conflict.
Yes.
So there's a lot of questions here, and the prosecutors have brought it up properly. But the thing is really, does it? I don't know. I'm just saying, USC, good luck.
And really, the question is, why does the prosecutor care? They're not involved in it either way, and I'll tell you why. You don't want to get, 75% of the way through this, and then the conflict arises after you spend $1 million prosecuting people or whatever it is, and now you got to go back to square one and do it all over.
Yeah, because Lori Laughlin's going to argue, oh, I got convicted. It's because there's a conflict over here, and
ineffective assistance of counsel based on the conflict. It goes up on appeal, and now you're back to square one.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
that's right.
Point. Well, that's a great point. So we're going to we still follow Lori Laughlin's case, and there's so much going on in Hollywood. We can't even keep. We've got Duck Dynasty, and we've got Pitch Perfect. Go
to the website radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.